You have to understand what is a spectrum. Spectrum of light, it starts with one end of the frequency and continues to go. Similarly, you have sound frequency. Okay. If you understand the concept of spectrum, you can also understand the spectrum of consciousness. Do you understand the consciousness of a stone versus consciousness of plants and trees versus consciousness of human beings and angels and higher beings? So there is always a spectrum. Now, as far as this mind and heart is concerned, there is also a spectrum. Mind is one part of that spectrum. Heart is another part of the spectrum. Okay. The highest feelings or the highest thought or the deepest thought is superficial feeling. It can be compared like that. Or the deepest feeling, you have transcended thought itself. Thought doesn't come in the way. So anything that we do with the brain also affects the heart, and anything that we feel with the heart also affects the mind. It's one and the same thing. Just two aspects, you see. Both ends. One mind is one end of the spectrum, heart is another end of the spectrum. And through Sahaj Marg, through heartfulness, we are trying to move the function of the mind and always use the heart in all our activities. That is evolution. We have understood so far what is consciousness, right? So consciousness is all these four things, CMBA. Consciousness is made up of mind, body, ahankar body, and intellect body, or the buddhi. Chitta is made up of buddhi, manas, and ahankar. They are the functions of the brain. But when thinking moves and you start feeling things, then you don't have to think too much. You feel and right away come to an answer. Sisters are good at it. They don't analyze like men. Men keeps thinking logically. Sisters, they feel with their heart. So they are much more advanced than man counterparts, at that level of feelings. Similarly, buddhi. What happens to buddhi? Buddhi is an intellect. When it is associated with your brain, with your mind, it is buddhi. But when it is associated with your heart, it becomes intuition. So as we meditate more and more, the same function of buddhi, which is associated with mind, now associates itself with the heart and it becomes intuition. It's just mutation of the same thing. Similarly, the arrogance, ego, when it is displayed as an arrogance, it's a function of the mind, it's logic. But when the same ego becomes humility, it's a function of the heart. You see the difference? It's the same thing, but there are two different ends of the same, spectrum, same spectrum. One is the highest vibration, one is at the lowest vibration. Mind is at a lower vibration, heart is at a higher vibrations.